think I'll start by playing a Charlie Poole song. Charlie Poole was was a performer, a musician that was around, a banjo player in the 1920s, and he did some funny old songs that I like to recreate. This is a song called "I'm the Man That Rode a Mule Around the World."
Struck 23 down at the courtyard, about a mile and a half away, where pickled pigs feeding hogs herself at 19 cents a pound. She's my freckle-faced consumption Sarah Jane. Well, she's my lady, she's black-eyed and crazy, prettiest girl I thought I ever saw. Well, they say her breath is sweet, but I'd rather smell her feet. My freckle-faced consumption Sarah Jane. Well, I'm the man that rode a mule around the world. I'm the man that rode a mule around the world. I was there on Noah's Ark, now I'm happy as a lark. I'm the man that rode the mule around the world. I was born 4,000 years ago, and there's nothing in this world I do not know. I was there when Pharaoh's army fought with Moses on the water, and I can beat any man who said it so. Well, I'm the man that rode a mule around the world. I'm the man that rode a mule around the world. I was there on Noah's Ark, then it led me to the shark. I'm the man that rode the mule around the world. I was there when Satan searched the garden over. I was there when Satan searched the garden over. Saying the apple Eve was eating in the bushes I was peeping in. I can swear I'm the man that ate the core. Well, I'm the man that rode a mule around the world. I'm the man that rode a mule around the world. I was there on Noah's Ark, now I'm happy as a lark. I'm the man that rode the mule around the world. I'm a highly educated man, and there's things in my brain that I have planned. I've been singing this old song, I've been singing it so long, that Abraham and Jacob used to sing. Well, I'm the man that rode a mule around the world. I'm the man who rode a mule around the world. I was there on Noah's Ark, now I'm happy as a lark. I'm the man that rode the mule around the world. Well, I'm the man that rode a mule around the world. Well, I'm the man that rode a mule around the world. I was there on Noah's Ark until he fed me to the shark. That I'm the man that rode the mule around the world.
The next song I want to play is a song called "Brown-Eyed Rabbit." It's a traditional American song, American folk song. I actually don't know exactly who recorded it first. I first heard it at the Jacob's Ladder Festival being performed by a group of Canadians, but I know that it's a traditional song about how delicious and fun it is to try and catch rabbits and eat them.
Yonder come a rabbit, fast as he can run. If I see him run, I'll shoot him with my gun. Sam brown-eyed rabbit's gone, brown-eyed rabbit's gone. Well, brown-eyed rabbit's gone, gone, brown-eyed rabbit's gone. Yonder come a rabbit, dashing through the sand. Shoot that rabbit, he don't care, I'll fry him in my pan. Sam brown-eyed rabbit's gone, brown-eyed rabbit's gone. Well, brown-eyed rabbit's gone, gone, brown-eyed rabbit's gone. Yonder come my darling, how do I know? I spotted her by her bright blue eyes, they're shining bright like gold. I'm walking a weary land, I'm walking a weary land. I'm walking a weary land, walking a weary land. Saying brown-eyed rabbit's gone, brown-eyed rabbit's gone. Brown-eyed rabbit's gone, gone, brown-eyed rabbit's gone. Well, brown-eyed rabbit's gone, brown-eyed rabbit's gone. Sam brown-eyed rabbit's gone, gone, brown-eyed rabbit's gone. Well, brown-eyed rabbit's gone, brown-eyed rabbit's gone. Sam brown-eyed rabbit's gone, gone, brown-eyed rabbit's gone.
I started playing harmonica actually in high school after I took some interest in blues music. I started playing harmonica. It seemed pretty easy and relatively accessible, and it was something I could do while I was driving when I had long drives to high school actually each day for a couple years. So I would listen to CDs on the way and play some music. And only in when I
This is when you were living
in Canada, in Canada, and started playing guitar just in Israel about somewhere around 15 years ago. Just shortly before I came to Yodefat, I started playing guitar, and I already knew exactly what I wanted to play, and found some lessons online that could show me sort of the way a little bit, and so I started playing guitar around 2007 or 2008.
What kind of music were you listening to growing up? Like as a teenager?
Well, I started off with I have an older brother who has had a lot of influence on me musically, and we listened to sort of classic rock for a number of years and enjoyed that. Led Zeppelin and David Bowie, and slowly got into Bob Dylan and Rolling Stones and that sort of stuff. And then his curiosity led us down the path of trying to figure out sort of who those guys listened to. And so pretty quickly we started seeing this name that kept coming up, which was Robert Johnson. Eric Clapton certainly took a lot of influence from Robert Johnson, and so did Keith Richards and Led Zeppelin, and so there was Robert Johnson and Leadbelly and Big Bill Broonzy, and there were a few guys like that we sort of discovered through the classic rock, the history of classic rock, you could say. and I certainly knew the first time I heard Robert Johnson that I sort of got to the roots of it all. you couldn't deny that. One of my favorite artists from back in the day, who was recorded in the late 1920s, is Jim Jackson, and he was never really very popular one way or another. To this day, he's not very well known. But he did some of the. He at the time when he was recorded, he was already around 40 or 50 years old, and he was an interesting character. He was a songster. I don't know if the term bluesman would apply to him, because he was around long before the blues was even a term, and so he played in what's called the songster tradition, and he was a banjo player and a guitar player, and he played all original songs, and his music always hit a sensitive spot for me, that's for sure. So he had a song that he played called "Old Dog Blue," about the wonderful relationship between a man and his dog. I'm going back to where I come from. Saying I'm going back to where I come from. I'm going back to Giles County. My wife died and left me bound. That's the reason I'm going back to Giles County. I had a dog whose name was Blue. You know that Blue was mighty true. You know Blue was a good old dog. Yeah, Blue treated a possum in a hollow log. You know by that he's a good old dog. Well, Blue treated a possum out on a limb. Well, Blue looked at me and I looked at him. I caught that possum, put him in a sack, saying, "Do for me, Blue, till I get back." Yeah, ring here. Yeah, ring here. Old Blue's feet was big and round. Saying old Blue's feet was big and round. He never let a possum touch the ground. Saying me and Blue went out on a hunt. Yeah, Blue treated a possum in a hollow stump. You know Blue was a good old dog. Yeah, Blue treated a possum in a hollow log. Yeah, you know by that he's a good old dog. Well, old Blue died and I dug his grave. Well, I dug his grave with a silver spade. I laid him down with a golden chain, and on every link I called his name. Whoa, Blue, you good dog, you. Say, whoa, Blue, you good dog, you. Well, Blue laid down and died like a man. Yeah, Blue laid down and died like a man. Now he's treating possums in the promised land. Well, let me tell you just to let you know. Say, let me tell you just to let you know. That old Blue's gone where the good dogs go. Now every time I hear Blue bark, saying every time I hear Blue bark, well, he's treating possums in Noah's Ark. And when I lay this old guitar down, saying when I lay this old guitar down, I go up to heaven and get my crown. And when I get to heaven, gonna tell you what I do. Well, I grab my horn and blow for Blue. Well, come on, Blue, it's me and you. Well, come on, Blue, it's me and you. Oh, come on, Blue, it's me and you. Say, come on, Blue,
me and you.
There's an anthology out there that's called The Anthology of American Folk Music, which was put together by a guy named Harry Smith. It's a collection of sort of a lot of the old folk songs and traditional songs that were recorded, some of the earliest recordings, basically. And on that anthology, there's a song by if I'm not mistaken, they're called the Carolina Tar Heels, and they were sort of a country group that did a song called Pagano. And Pagano is peg and all are tools that the shoemaker used to make shoes back in the day. And it's actually a song, if I'm not mistaken, from the early 1800s. It was only recorded in the 1900s, but it actually dates back a lot further than that. And it's a song that talks about, technological advancement and how, things today aren't quite like they used to be. And how things have changed. And it's kind of funny to think that in the early 1900s, that resonated with people, that, the Industrial Revolution has changed the way that people interact with the world and the way that things are appreciated and handmade things are appreciated, or the lack thereof. So this is a song called Pagano from the early 1800s.
In the year of 1801, Pagano. In the year of 1801, Pagano. In the year of 1801, pegging shoes was all I'd done. Hand me down my pegs, my pegs, my pegs, my all. Said in the year of 1802, Pagano. In the year of 1802, Pagano. In the year of 1802, pegging shoes was all I do. Hand me down my pegs, my pegs, my pegs, my all. Said in the year of 1803, Pagano. In the year of 1803, Pagano. In the year of 1803, pegging shoes was all you'd see. Hand me down my pegs, my pegs, my pegs, my all. Said in the year of 1804, Pagano. In the year of 1804, Pagano. In the year of 1804, I said I'd peg them shoes no more. Throw away my pegs, my pegs, my pegs, my all. 'Cause they've invented a new machine, pegging all. Well, they've invented a new machine, pegging all. Well, they've invented a new machine, prettiest thing you ever seen. Throw away my pegs, my pegs, my pegs, my all. Well, it makes 100 pairs to my one, pegging all. It makes 100 pairs to my one, pegging all. It makes 100 pairs to my one, pegging shoes, it ain't no fun. Throw away my pegs, my pegs, my pegs, my all. in one. Pegging shoes was all I done. Hand me down my pegs, my pegs, my pegs, my all. Said in the year of 1802, pegging all. In the year of 1802, pegging all. In the year of 1802, pegging shoes was all I do. Hand me down my pegs, my pegs, my pegs, my all. Said in the year of 1803, pegging all. In the year of 1803, pegging all. In the year of 1803, pegging shoes was all you'd see. Hand me down my pegs, my pegs, my pegs, my all. In the year of 1804, pegging all. In the year of 1804, pegging all. In the year of 1804, I said I'd peg them shoes no more. Throw away my pegs, my pegs, my pegs, my all. 'Cause they've invented a new machine, pegging all. Well, they've invented a new machine, pegging all. Well, they've invented a new machine, prettiest thing you ever seen. Throw away my pegs, my pegs, my pegs, my all. Well, it makes 100 pairs to my one, pegging all. It makes 100 pairs to my one, pegging all. It makes 100 pairs to my one, pegging shoes, it ain't no fun. Throw away my pegs, my pegs, my pegs, my all.
Actually, a not very well-known Leadbelly song. Leadbelly was a funny character in general. He was in prison twice for murder, and he got pardoned twice by the governor of, if I'm not mistaken, it was in Kentucky. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I would have to check that, but I know that he was imprisoned twice, and both times he made the claim that a man was coming after him, and he had no choice but to defend himself. But he was sentenced, and he spent some time in Parchment Farms, if I'm not mistaken. And he wrote the song Goodnight Irene, which actually later became a very popular folk song, and it was covered, many, many times. And he also wrote songs to the governor, and pleading his case, and the governor heard his talent, and he actually also managed to convince John Lomax to sort of vouch for him. John Lomax was the musicologist that went down south and discovered Leadbelly and discovered a lot of the great musicians from the 20s and 30s and 40s. And that's what he did, and the governor released him sort of into John Lomax's responsibility. And they toured the country and played music, and Leadbelly had a very long musical career, actually, in spite of being convicted of murder twice. And in fact, there are pictures of Leadbelly where his hair went completely gray or white relatively early on when he was in his 30s or 40s. And then you see pictures of him in the 1950s where he was probably around 50 years old, and all of a sudden his hair was black again. And apparently he actually married a younger woman, 10 or 20 years younger than him. And the story goes that you could smell Leadbelly from a mile away because he would put shoe polish in his hair to make his hair black so that he wouldn't look like he was the girl's father or grandfather or something like that. So he wanted to look younger. He would use shoe polish in his hair before there was such a thing as hair dye. And there's a lot of popular Leadbelly songs today that even until today, even Nirvana did a cover of In the Pines, or Where Did You Sleep Last Night is a very well-known song today, and that's one of the songs that I discovered through Nirvana, and then sort of went back in time and discovered the original, and what was blown away by the power of the original song. But there's another Leadbelly song that I really like to play, which is called What Can I Do to Change Your Mind? It's not a very common or well-known song by him, but I have a CD that has one of his of one of his last concerts before he passed away, and I think it was recorded in 1955, and he played this song in that concert. Other than that, I've never heard it anywhere else. Just tell me, baby, just tell me, baby, what can I do to change your mind? Whoa, what can I do to change your mind? I need to start again. Just tell me, baby, just tell me, baby, what can I do to change your mind? Whoa, what can I do to change your mind? I got the blues for your mama, they keep me worried all the time. You say you love me, I believe you too. Say you wanna quit me, honey, what in the world is wrong with you? Whoa, what can I do to change your mind? I got the blues for your mama, they keep me worried all the time. Oh, tell me, baby, what can I do to change your mind? Whoa, what can I do to change your mind? I got the blues for your mama, they keep me worried all the time. My mama had 'em, my papa had 'em,
My sister told me that she had 'em too. Whoa, what can I do to change your mind? I got the blues for you, mama. You keep me worried all the time. It's a song called When I Was a Cowboy. It's another one of those songs that I wouldn't really categorize as a blues song. It's a lead belly folk song, more or less. And in fact, he probably wouldn't take credit for most of his songs necessarily either. Some of them are definitely songs that he wrote, but in fact, most of the songs that he played were also from the songster tradition, and were not original per se, and not written by him as we would sort of, the same way that we would give credit today, but rather songs that he collected along the way, and in prison and in traveling, and he made them his own. That's for sure. But not necessarily songs that he wrote. When I was a cowboy down on the western plains. When I was a cowboy down on the western plains. When I made about $500,000 pulling on the bridle reins. Come a cow-cow-yicky, come a cow-cow-yicky, yeah. Come a cow-cow-yicky, come a cow-cow-yicky, yeah. When me and a bunch of cowboys was out on the western plains. Me and a bunch of cowboys was out on the western plains. Well, me and a bunch of cowboys, we run into Jesse James. Come a cow-cow-yicky, come a cow-cow-yicky, yicky, yeah. Come a cow-cow-yicky, come a cow-cow-yicky, yicky, yeah. When me and a bunch of cowboys run into Jesse James. Me and a bunch of cowboys, we run into Jesse James. Well, them bullets was a-falling just like showers of rain. Come a cow-cow-yicky, come a cow-cow-yicky, yicky, yeah. Come a cow-cow-yicky, come a cow-cow-yicky, yicky, yeah. Greatest battle was out on Bunker's Hill. Oh, the greatest battle was out on Bunker's Hill. Where me and a bunch of cowboys running to Buffalo Bill. Come a cow-cow-yicky, come a cow-cow-yicky, yicky, yeah. Come a cow-cow-yicky, come a cow-cow-yicky, yicky, yeah. Said me and a bunch of men walked up to a man on the outskirts of town, yeah. But first we got our horses drunk, and then we got our 45s drunk, and then the men, they all done got drunk. And when we walked up to that man's house, them horses was a-walking, and them 45s was talking. And we called out to the man, sent his best regards, sound something like this. House catching fire and there ain't no water around. House catching fire and there ain't no water around. Throw your jelly roll out the window, let that doggone shack burn down. Come a cow-cow-yicky, come a cow-cow-yicky, yicky, yay. Come a cow-cow-yicky, come a cow-cow-yicky, yicky, yay. Come on, all you cowboys, say don't you wanna go? Come on, all you cowboys, say don't you wanna go? Well, all the way down on the trail to Mexico. Come a cow-cow-yicky, come a cow-cow-yicky, yicky, yay. Come a cow-cow-yicky, come a cow-cow-yicky, yicky, yay. Say when I was a cowboy out on the western plains. When I was a cowboy out on the western plains. When I made about $500,000 pulling on the bridle reins. Come a cow-cow-yicky, come a cow-cow-yicky, yicky, yay. 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 Hey, hey.
I wanted to play a song by Furry Lewis. Furry Lewis was another one of my favorite bluesmen, who was recorded in the late 1920s. He recorded two sides. He recorded a full album, so to speak. And he also was a song collector, you could say, and collected a lot of stories along his travels about John Henry and Frankie and Johnny and lots of different characters. And one of the characters that he sang about and sort of made famous was Casey Jones. Casey Jones was a railroad engineer. And Furry Lewis usually played with a slide. He actually played in open tunings and with a slide, but I'm no good with a slide. But this song he played without a slide, but he did a lot of sliding, so to speak, even without the slide on his finger. And I like this song. It has a real train feel to it.
Woke up this morning, 4 o'clock. Mr. Casey told the fireman to boil the hot. Put on your water, put on your coat, put your head out the window. See my drivers roll, see my drivers roll. Put your head out the window, see my drivers roll. Lord, some people said Mr. Casey couldn't run. Let me tell you what Mr. Casey done. He left Memphis, was 8:45. Got to Newport News, it was dinner time, it was dinner time. Got to Newport News, it was dinner time. I sold my gin, I sold it straight. Police run me to my woman's gate. She come to the door and she nodded her head. Well, she made me welcome to the folding bed, the folding bed. She made me welcome to the folding bed. Lord, people said to Casey, you're running over time. You have a collusion with the 109. People said it ain't in mine. I'll run in to go, listen, make my time. All your passengers, you better keep yourselves hid. I'm gonna shake it like Cheney did, like Cheney did. I'm naturally gonna shake it like Cheney did. Mr. Casey run his engine to a mile of a place. Number 4 stared him in the face. Mr. Casey, well, you must leave town. I believed in my soul. I'm Alabama bound, I'm Alabama bound. Believed in my soul, I'm Alabama bound. Miss Casey said she dreamt a dream, and One night she bought her sewing machine. The needle got broken, she could not sew. Well, she loved Mr. Casey, yeah, she told me so. She told me so. She loved Mr. Casey, yeah, she told me so. There was a woman named Alice Fry. She said, I'm gonna ride with Mr. Casey till I die. I ain't good looking, but I take my time. I'm a rambling woman, got a rambling mind, got a rambling mind. A rambling woman with a rambling mind.
This is another Furry Lewis song, which is called "I Will Turn Your Money Green." He had a funny way of saying things, and he was a true poet, I would say. And actually, he was around until the 1980s, even. I think he lived well into, I think he lived into his 80s. And in the 20s, when he was recorded, he was a young guy. He was quite young. He was one of the younger bluesmen that was recorded at the time. And so he actually played a lot of festivals in the 60s and 70s. And he even played a role in some Burt Reynolds movie where he played music and also acted in that movie. And he went on to put on concerts with Leon Russell, who played with Joe Cocker, and Leon Russell was a well-known musician in the, and Leon Russell really loved Furry Lewis. You can see it in there's a video out there that you can find of Leon Russell and Furry Lewis playing together, and Furry Lewis also he also tried to be a preacher for a little while, and came in and out of the preacher life, and sort of dabbled in both. But of course, you can only be one. You can't be a bluesman and a true Christian. They don't really go together. That lifestyle can't accommodate the other. They used to say that you can't be out partying Saturday night and wake up for church on Sunday. It doesn't work that way. And so I think Furry Lewis was torn between the two, and he did some sort of spirituals and stuff like that, but for the most part he was pretty steeped in the blues and had his trouble with whiskey and women, and he sang about it too. So this is "I Will Turn Your Money Green."
When I was in Missouri, they would not let me be. When I was in Missouri, they would not let me be. I wouldn't rest content till I come to Tennessee. If you follow me, baby, I'll turn your money green. Follow me, baby, I'll turn your money green. I'll show you more money than Rockefeller ever seen. If the river was whiskey, baby, I was a duck. If the river was whiskey, baby, I was a duck. Well, I would dive to the bottom, Lord knows I'd never come up. Talk about sweetheart, I declare I'm an honest man. Talk about your sweetheart, I declare I'm an honest man. Gave my woman money and I broke her apron string. All she gave me was trouble, gave me trouble all the time. All she gave me was trouble, gave me trouble all the time. I've been troubled so long, I don't let trouble worry my mind. I've been down so long, it seemed like up to me. Been down so long, it seemed like up to me. And the woman I love, she got a heart like a rock in the sea. Said I would holler murder, but this old damn town's too small. I would holler murder, but this old damn town's too small. And my woman quit me, she threw my trunk outdoors. If you follow me, baby, I'll turn your money green. Follow me, baby, I'll turn your money green. I'll show you more money than Rockefeller ever seen. I wanted to play a song called Lewis Collins. Lewis Collins was recorded by Mississippi John Hurt. And you could say in a lot of ways that Mississippi John Hurt is the single biggest influence on how I play guitar. I would say that nobody can actually really recreate, his sound because it was really unique. Long before Chet Atkins came along and Merle Travis and people like that, Mississippi John Hurt was sort of the pioneer of the Piedmont style alternating bass finger picking style. And one of his riffs is the first thing that I played on my guitar when I finished building my guitar. And while it's actually some of the most, in a lot of ways, it's very predictable what Mississippi John Hurt would play. You always knew what bass note was coming next. It's very hard to replicate and to really get the feel down. And Mississippi John Hurt was interesting because he was another one of the guys like Furry Lewis who was recorded when he was a young man in his 20s, in the 1920s. He recorded for OK Records and and he recorded a song called Avalon Blues. And in that song he sang Avalon is my home, and Avalon, Mississippi. And so when the folk revival came along, he sort of fell into obscurity and went back to being a farmer after recording an entire album. And he recorded about 28 songs in the 1920s. And then the Depression hit, and nobody saw any money from any of those recordings. And so Mississippi John Hurt went back to doing what he does. He preached a little bit and worked in agriculture and farmed and lived his life. And of course he continued playing guitar as he loved to do. And when the folk revival came around in the early 1960s, some of the
some of the beatniks in New York who were putting together festivals, they got into some of those old recordings. And so they actually went to go look for some of those people who recorded in the 1920s. And so they took a shot in the dark and they said, let's go to Avalon. As he said, Avalon is his home. And sure enough, they drove down to Avalon, Mississippi, and found Mississippi John Hurt sitting on his porch playing guitar like, time stood still. And yeah, sure enough, they found him and they dragged him up to New York and had him play in festivals, and he blew them away. And he was in his, he was probably in his 60s or 70s then, and he even became a friend of Pete Seeger's, and he was on, Pete Seeger in the 1960s had a show called Rainbow Quest, and Pete Seeger was very eager to have Mississippi John Hurt come on, and he came on and played some songs, and so people got reintroduced to Mississippi John Hurt through people like Pete Seeger and John Cohen and a few different people who made a point of carrying on the tradition and rediscovering these people. So Mississippi John Hurt was rediscovered in the 60s, and this is one of the songs that he used to blow people away, called Lewis Collins. It's a sort of trance song, if you ask me. Well, Miss Collins, we miss Collins more. See her son Lewis leaving home. Angels laid him away. Said angels laid him away. Oh Lord, laid him 6 feet under the clay. Angels laid him away. John shot once and Lewis shot 2. Shot poor Collins all through and through. Angels laid him away. Well, angels laid him away. Oh Lord, laid him 6 feet under the clay. Angels laid him away. Saying, oh, kind friend, said, ain't it hard? Shot poor Lewis in an old graveyard. Angels laid him away. Said, angels laid him away. Oh, Lord, laid him 6 feet under the clay. Angels laid him away. When Miss Collins heard that Lewis was dead, all them folks come dressed in red. Angels laid him away. Said angels laid him away. Oh Lord, laid him 6 feet under the clay.
Say Miss Collins weep, Miss Collins moan. See her son Louis leaving home. Angels laid him away. Said angels laid him away. Oh Lord, laid him 6 feet under the clay. Angels laid him away. I wanted to play a Blind Boy Fuller song. Who he was actually a student of Reverend Gary Davis, and Reverend Gary Davis was a great teacher, and he used to say of Blind Boy Fuller that he was a pretty good guitar player. He had a sportin' right hand, and Blind Boy Fuller wrote some interesting songs as well, and he was pretty graphic actually in a lot of ways. He wrote some songs that had some violence in them, and yeah, not particularly complimentary to the women in his life in a lot of ways. And he had a funny way of putting things, and this is one of those songs that certainly had his funny way of putting things, as they say. It's an old ragtime song called Oozing You Off My Mind. I guess everyone will have their own interpretation of what that means, but Blind Boy Fuller played Oozing You Off My Mind. Well, baby, if you think I'm dreaming 'cause you quit me, you gotta change your mind. When you see me sitting around sleeping, I'm oozing you off my mind. Come here, mama, you're doing me mighty rough. You know I'm getting tired of that doggone stuff. Baby, if you think I'm dreaming 'cause you quit me, you gotta change your mind. Well, I mean, you gotta change your mind. Well, baby, if you think I'm dreaming 'cause you quit me, you gotta change your mind. Said when you see me sitting around sleeping, I'm just using you off my mind. Ragamuffin elephant said to the hen, meet me at the barnyard at 10:30. Baby, if you think I'm dreaming 'cause you quit me, you gotta change your mind. Well, I mean, you got to change your mind. Well, baby, if you think I'm dreaming 'cause you quit me, you gotta change your mind. When you see me sitting around sleeping, I'm just oozing you off my mind. ashes to ashes, mama, sand to sand. Show me a woman ain't got a backdoor man. If you think I'm dreaming 'cause you quit me, you gotta change your mind. Well, I mean, you gotta change your mind. Well, baby, if you think I'm dreaming 'cause you quit me, you've got to change your mind. Said when you see me sitting around sleeping, I'm just losing you off my mind. Come here, mama, you're doing me mighty rough. You know I'm getting tired of that doggone stuff. If you think I'm dreaming 'cause you quit me, you gotta change your mind. Well, I mean, you gotta change your mind. In the morning, you gotta change your mind.
Anyways, I was thinking of playing one more song, playing a gospel tune that I actually heard a recording by the Cox family. They're actually, if I'm not mistaken, they still perform today, and they performed on the soundtrack of Oh Brother Where Art Thou. They didn't perform this song, but this is my favorite song by that family, and they certainly had they're a very musical family, and they had great harmonies, and I sort of turned it into a solo piece, but it's certainly meant to be a song with harmonies and and a whole bluegrass band behind it, but it's one of my favorite songs.
I was standing by the bedside of a neighbor who was just about to cross swelling tide, and I asked him if he would do me a favor, kindly take this message to the other side. Well, if you see him, tell him that you saw me. When you saw me, I was on my way. You may meet some more friends who may ask about me, but just tell them I am coming home someday. Well, you may have to make this journey on without me, babe. Sooner or later, it's a debt that must be paid. When you reach that goal is when you'll think about me. Don't forget to tell my Savior what I say. Chance to meet my mother or my father there, or some friend I can't recall. You may chance to meet my sister or my brother there, but don't forget to see my Savior first of all. Well, I was standing by the bedside of a neighbor who was just about to cross a swelling tide, and I asked him if he would do me a favor, kindly take this message to the other side.